Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and I love the Movies Anywhere service. I've talked about it quite a bit here on the channel. It's a very consumer-friendly thing because what it lets you do is buy a movie either physically or digitally and then have that movie sync up without any additional charges to all of your other video services that you might be subscribed to. So, for example, here I bought Star Wars The Last Jedi on 4K Blu-ray physically, and inside the box was a little coupon. I typed that code into Movies Anywhere, and because I've connected my other video services like iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon to Movies Anywhere, once I bought the movie, put the coupon in, it's now available across all those other services on all of my devices. I get basically the best of all worlds here for one purchase. So you can see here on Prime Video, there's Star Wars The Last Jedi in my library. I didn't have to buy it there. It's also on my Google Play account here, and of course it is sitting in Vudu as well as on my Apple TV using Apple's iTunes service. It's a tremendous deal, and if you bought a movie digitally somewhere along the way and it's compatible with Movies Anywhere, those movies sync up too. So I could buy a movie on iTunes and have it available to me on Amazon and Google just by doing that digital purchase. And a viewer, Ryan Martinez, wrote in about a new service that Vudu has called Disc to Digital. And what that lets you do is take out your old DVD movies and basically convert them to digital copies for only $2. That gets you a standard definition version of that movie. You can go to HD for $5. So for the cost of a rental, you can convert your old movies that you may not want to just buy on a Blu-ray disc over to HD for a pretty low price. And if you've got a Blu-ray movie like Avatar here that I bought a couple of years ago, maybe 10 years ago now, who knows, and you want to get that digitally, $2 will get you the HD version. And if these movies are on Movies Anywhere, those will then sync up across your other services. So check this out. I've got Dave here, which I scanned a little earlier on Vudu, and once I did that, and because everything is connected up with Movies Anywhere, I have Dave here on Google Play, just like I do my other movies that I purchased physically, and it's also showing up here in Amazon, and it was on my iTunes account as well, just for that $5 up convert charge, or if I wanted to just keep it standard def, $2. Pretty good deal. So I wanted to show you how this works, because you do have to do a couple of things on each service to make sure the movie is compatible so you can get what you're expecting here. So I'll show you the process and let you know how it all works, and we'll even try out some older formats too. We're going to see if it works with VHS and HD DVD as well. Now I do want to let you know, in the interest of full disclosure, that nobody is paying for this review. I'm just a fan of Movies Anywhere, and I'm now a fan of Disc to Digital as well. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own, and nobody or any brand has reviewed what you're about to see before it was uploaded. Let's get into it now and see how all of this works. Now, before we begin, I'm going to assume that you've already set up a Movies Anywhere account and connected up your retailers. So if you go into my account here, you can see that I've got Vudu, Google Play, iTunes, and Prime Video all connected. And Movies Anywhere is free, and any purchase that you have on any of those services that's in Movies Anywhere will sync up once you sign up for it. So you will find probably digital purchases you made years ago that you forgot about because maybe you stopped using Apple iTunes at some point and switched over to Google. Now a lot of those purchases will come over to Google as a result of just connecting your accounts for no charge. It's a great revelation when you first get into this thing. I had a bunch of movies that I just didn't know were there, and they even gave me like 4 or 5 of them when I first got going with it. So that was pretty cool. Now what I want to do first, before we go over to the Disc to Digital thing, is see if the movie I want to convert is available on Movies Anywhere. And I've got this Blade Runner movie that I bought probably 18 or 19 years ago at the dawn of the DVD revolution. In fact, this one has got all of its original stuff in there. So at the end of the video, I'll show you what came packed in with DVD movies back in the day 20 years ago. So what we're going to do here is just go over to Movies Anywhere and search just to make sure that Blade Runner is in fact on Movies Anywhere, because if it's not, it's only going to be on Vudu when we do the Disc to Digital. But as you can see here, we have the director's cut, which is the one that I have available on Movies Anywhere, which means that when we add it to Vudu, it will then sync up everywhere else. Now, the next step is to make sure that Vudu has it in their library, and we're going to now switch over to our mobile device because we have to take a picture of the back of this movie to get the barcode read. Now, if you have an Android phone, the app that Vudu gives you for that platform will take care of all of this inside the app. Apple's policies being what they are, they don't allow that to work on iOS. So on the iOS side, you have to go to a special website, which I'll put down below. And when you do that, you'll get brought to a page where you can take the picture. So let's take a look at that on my iPhone. But remember, Android users have this integrated into the Vudu app. Okay, so I'm going to go to vudu.com/disc here on my iPhone, and we're going to take a picture here. So you can see there's an option to convert to disc, so I'm going to tap on that, and that will pull up a separate screen here. And I'm going to go to convert disc. It's going to pull up my camera here, and I just need to get a good shot of that barcode. So I'm going to take a photo of that. And now that we have that photo, I'm going to click Use Photo, and in a second, it's going to read that barcode and then hopefully give me the option to get this movie added to my libraries here. So we'll let it chew on that for a second. There we go. We've got my Blade Runner. Now I've got two options here. I can leave it in standard definition for $2, or I can do the HD up conversion for $5. I'm going to go with the $5 here, be a big spender, and click on that. And I also have the option to convert more. So I wanted to show you just what happens when you scan in a Blu-ray disc. So I'm going to add this one to the mix here. This is that Avatar Blu-ray. I'm going to take a photo of that and use the photo, and that should pop up here now too. Avatar, I did check on Movies Anywhere. It is available on those other formats. And you'll see here I have only one option, which is HD at $2, because this is a Blu-ray movie. It's already HD, which I paid for, so it's only $2 to get this added as a digital movie across all these platforms. And this came out before they were offering these movies in digital format for people, so that's a pretty good deal, I think. So we'll add that to my cart here, and I'm just going to go to checkout, and once I pay for everything here, this will now be across all of my other services. So let me do the checkout here, and I'll show you what happens when you're done. Okay, so all my payment information is in. I'm going to click Convert Now on my phone here, and now it's got these added to my Vudu. So we've got the movies in there, and I've got 21 now. And if I go back to my computer, let's take a look at Movies Anywhere first, just to see if my movies are now showing up there. And sure enough, Blade Runner and Avatar are now in Movies Anywhere after adding them to Vudu. And moving over to Amazon Video, you can see both of the movies are in there. And one thing that I noticed here as I was going through the different services is that it gave me the newer cut of the original Blade Runner movie called the Final Cut. So the disc that I have here on the desk is the director's cut, but there was a newer release of it, I believe in 2007. That's the one that it matched up for my $5 up convert charge from the old DVD. You can see here in Google Play, it's also got the Final Cut there along with Avatar. I also checked on my Apple TV upstairs, and both Blade Runner and Avatar were in fact in HD, as I would hope they would be, so that was good. They also showed up here on my iPhone, of course, because those both use Apple services. And when I booted up my iPhone here, it also gave me all of the iTunes extras for this movie, including director commentary and a whole bunch of other stuff too, including deleted scenes, so that was cool to see on this edition. Now, one thing to note here is that iTunes is doing free upgrades from HD to 4K for movies that are being sold in 4K on the iTunes store. But I don't believe doing this disc to digital thing is going to get you the 4K movie if one is available. So that's the only caveat to this. You may not see those HD movies become 4K movies on Apple. My advice is that if you do plan to buy movies digitally and you want 4K, buy them at the iTunes store in 4K, and then those will get synced up with Movies Anywhere that way, because it doesn't look like movies that you buy in HD elsewhere will magically become 4K on iTunes. A little complicated, but it looks like that's how they are approaching it. Now, I did try out some other formats just to see what would happen. So I was a fan of HD DVD when it first came out because I had an attachment for my Xbox 360. They, of course, lost out to Blu-ray, but the movie did get accepted by Movies Anywhere and the disc to digital thing. But I did not get the HD version available to me for $2. I had to do the $5 up conversion to get this HD DVD converted to a digital HD. Otherwise, you're going to get the standard definition. So if you got old HD DVDs laying around, it's going to be $5 to do the up conversion to HD digital. I did try a VHS tape, actually a bunch of them. So these movies were on Vudu as well on MoviesAnywhere, and the VHS tapes do not work. So if you've got an old tape kicking around from 30-something years ago, maybe go find the DVD at a tag sale or something and go from there. So overall, I think this is a pretty good deal to get, in my case especially, this old movie that I bought, at the dawn of the DVD era, and get an HD version of it available on all of my services and get the updated cut of the movie for $5. It's certainly less than I think the Blu-ray would cost, so I was pleased with that. I'm not a huge Blade Runner fan. I'm eager to watch this again because I want to watch the new movie. So not every movie I'm going to buy in 4K Blu-ray. So this was, to me, a good deal, I think. And if you're curious as to what came in the box with these movies back in the day, I figured I would show you before we close out here. So this was right when things were coming together here. They were talking about their list of DVDs growing every day because this was a new format and it really took off quickly. I think it came out around 1997 or so. And I bought my DVD player right when it came out because I was a big Laserdisc fan. I love the quality of Laserdisc, but the movies were expensive. These were a lot less expensive. And the real kicker for me was the fact that you didn't have to flip the disc over at any point. Most of the time when you watched a Laserdisc movie, a good 2.5-hour movie would often require a flip and then a disc change because you can only fit about an hour on each side of the disc, where these DVDs, because they were working with compressed video, could hold more. And on a CRT television, it looked great to me. It didn't really look all that different from Laserdisc, so it was a really great format. A couple of months after I bought the home player, I bought a DVD player for my PC so I could watch my movies in my dorm room, and that was cool to get that quality on my little 15-inch display, but most people had pretty small TVs back then. Now, what's funny about how these early DVDs were produced was that you had the widescreen along with the standard edition on two sides of a disc because many consumers were used to these VHS movies filling up their entire square television, and people liked that. They wanted the movie to fill the screen. They didn't like the letterbox format. So they gave people the choice, which was great here because the enthusiasts could get the widescreen version. I think a lot of consumers began noticing that there were details in the movies they were missing because of the pan and scan that was being done on the old VHS movies and on this side of the disc. So people, got okay with widescreen over time. And of course, when our TVs got wider, that helped also. So there really were some compromises being made early on to make this work for everybody. Some DVD packages had a standard disc and a widescreen disc, so they were able to cheaply manufacture both versions for folks, but of course widescreen eventually won out. And 5.1 channel audio, basically Dolby Digital, was on DVD from the start. So I was able to make use of my fancy 5.1 channel receiver from the get-go with this, which I was doing on some of my Laserdiscs that I had, but not all of them supported it, but all the Blu-rays or DVDs did. So very cool format, and kind of led the way to where we are today with Blu-ray. And again, I'm really quite pleased with the fact that I can take out all of these old movies that have just been sitting around on shelves here and be able to realize some of the value that I paid for them 20 years ago by converting them pretty cheaply to an HD stream that I can watch anytime on just about any device. So great deal. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. Until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold-level supporters of the Black Eyed and Blues Music Hour podcast: Chris Allegretta, Tom Albrecht, and Kalyan Kumar. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit Lon.TV/S.